All right, so 12.6, the first part we're going to do is the discriminant. So later we're going to be able to solve quadratic equations using this formula. So we use this if we can't use the x method or if we can't use roots, right? So in this part, we're going to get into this more in part 2. But for today, we're going to focus on this pink part, or red. I think that's pink. So b squared minus 4ac. This is going to tell us how many solutions we have, okay? So if you have an answer, so when you plug in this, if your expression is bigger than 0, then that means you're going to have 2 real solutions. So b squared minus 4ac, if that part is equal to 0, you're going to have 1 real solution. And if b squared minus 4ac is less than 0, so if it's a negative number, you're going to have 2 imaginary solutions. So sometimes they say that this is, if it's asking you for your real solutions, this will be no real solutions. So no real solutions or 2 imaginary solutions, 1 real solution or 2 real solutions. So we're going to go over a couple examples of this today. Okay, so here's our first example. So again, we're going to use the formula b squared minus 4ac. So if that's positive, we'll have 2 solutions. If it's negative, we have 2 imaginary solutions or no real solutions. And if it's 0, we'll have 1 real solution. So let's first identify our a, b, and c. So in this case, our a is negative 2, our b is negative 8, and our c is also negative 8. So first thing you want to take into account that, remember when we're solving for quadratics and we have x's on one side, we're going to set the other side equal to 0. So we're going to do a different type of example next. All right, so we're just going to use this formula. So we have b squared, so we got negative 8 squared minus 4 times a is negative 2 times c is negative 8. Okay, we're going to evaluate this. So negative 8 times negative 8 is positive 64. And for this one, I'm going to use my calculator. Oh, no, I'm not. This is positive 8 times negative 8. It's going to be negative 64. 64 minus 64 is 0. So this tells me I'm going to have 1 real solution. So these are the 2 answers. I'll put a comma there. These are the 2 answers that I'm going to be looking for on your homework. So your homework's going to be paper homework, and you're just going to show your work here. Okay, here's a second example. I'm going to speed up a little bit. So notice we have an 8 here. We need one side to be a 0 if we're going to be solving using the quadratic formula or finding the discriminant. So first thing we have to do here is subtract 8 to both sides. Now we have the equation negative 3v squared plus 5v minus 7. Say this is what we're going to use for a, b, and c now. So in this case, our formula is b squared minus 4ac. So b squared is 5 squared minus 4, that's always there. A is negative 3, and c is negative 7 here. So we're going to evaluate this. We're going to get 25. And we got 12 times 7. I think that's 80. 12 times 7. 84. And then if we did that, let me look at the answer, you're going to get negative 59. So since our answer is a negative here, we're going to have 2 imaginary solutions. And if it asks how many real solutions, you would have no real solutions and 2 imaginary solutions. So there it is. There's your lesson for today.